The information that a child was waiting at the entrance of the commercial building, claiming to be his granddaughter, echoed heavily in Alexander's mind. That unexpected revelation had shaken the foundations of his existence, and the shadow of an unknown past began to creep into his thoughts, ready to transform the course of his life forever. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next exciting stories. Enjoy. Alessandro was a man who exuded confidence. Born and raised in a family that had built its pharmaceutical empire with dedication and sacrifice, he was accustomed to firmly managing every aspect of his life. Success, for him, was not just a goal, but a responsibility. At the helm of the family business, he had inherited not only a thriving business, but also the weight of expectations from generations past. His life was marked by precise routines and meticulous plans, and nothing ever seemed to slip out of his control. Yet Alessandro was not just a businessman. Behind the serious and impenetrable facade, there was a man who had known pain and loss. The death of his wife, many years before, had left a deep wound in his heart, a wound that he had learned to hide behind a wall of rationality and rigor. But that evening, when he left his office and his eyes met those of an unknown little girl, something inside him cracked. The resemblance to someone he knew well was undeniable, and that pendant the little girl wore around her neck brought back memories he had buried for a long time. Sylvia, the 12-year-old girl, was there, alone and shivering in the cold. She had traveled a long way to find the man her mother, now dead, had told her was her grandfather. The fragility of that small figure, her face marked by tiredness and suffering, made a breach in Alessandro's heart. He was used to rejecting attempts by exploiters, but this time, something different pushed him to listen to that innocent voice. He decided, not without hesitation, to take her to his house, an impulsive gesture that would unleash a series of unstoppable events. At home, Sylvia found herself immersed in a world of luxury and comfort, an environment that made her feel out of place. Alessandro tried to understand, to put together the pieces of a story that seemed impossible. The little girl, with her childish frankness, told him how her mother had told her that Alessandro was her grandfather and that he should take care of her. The little girl's words, loaded with unexpected emotional weight, shook Alessandro to his core. The pendant, an object he recognized immediately, forced him to confront a past he had tried to forget. The return home of Nicholas, Alessandro's son, added further tensions. Nicholas was a man who had always lived in his father's shadow, respecting the rules imposed by the family and sacrificing his own desires. His wife Claudia, an elegant and ambitious woman, had become a prominent figure in high society. Their daughter, Mariana, raised in comfort and privilege, did not know the reality beyond the walls that protected her. But Sylvia's arrival shook that golden bubble. Claudia felt her position as sole matriarch threatened, and Mariana, accustomed to being the center of attention, perceived Sylvia's presence as an intolerable intrusion. Alessandro, while trying to maintain a balance, felt a conflict growing inside him. He wanted to take care of Sylvia, but at the same time, he had to deal with the weight of a secret that threatened to destroy his family. Nicola, for his part, was torn between the desire to do the right thing and the fear of upsetting the fragile family harmony. Days passed, and as the tension increased, Alessandro began to develop a special bond with Sylvia. The mornings spent together, the moments shared in his office, became a refuge from reality for both of them. Sylvia, who had always wanted a true bond, found in Alessandro a father figure she never imagined she could have. But that fragile balance was about to be upset by a truth that would change their lives forever. The situation reached a climax when Alessandro summoned Nicola to his study for a direct confrontation. The weight of the words he was about to pronounce oppressed him, but he knew he could no longer postpone them. The revelation that night, when he discovered that Sylvia was indeed his niece, forced him to face reality. "Nicola," he said, his voice trembling with emotion, "this little girl is your daughter." If you like the story, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your support. The revelation came like a bolt from the blue. Nicola, shocked, could not believe his father's words. Sylvia was the fruit of a forbidden love, a clandestine relationship that Nicola had had many years before with one of the family's maids. That relationship, shattered by rigid family expectations, had left behind not only broken hearts, but also a hidden life, a secret that was now coming to light in a devastating way. Claudia's reaction was equally dramatic. She felt the ground slipping away from under her feet, and Sylvia's presence became an obsession for her. Mariana, for her part, could not understand why that little girl, who until recently had been a complete stranger, was now stealing the affection she considered rightfully hers. As the family fell apart under the weight of tension, Alessandro found comfort in his growing bond with Sylvia. He saw her as an opportunity for redemption, a way to redeem the mistakes of the past. But that fragile peace was shattered when Alessandro, now old and tired, died suddenly, leaving an unfillable void in Sylvia's life. When the will was read, tensions reached their peak. Claudia and Mariana were confident that the inheritance would consolidate their position, but Alessandro had other plans. Mariana received a private jet, a symbol of the luxury and privilege in which she had grown up. But for Sylvia, Alessandro had something very different: an old car, a gesture that left everyone speechless. However, what seemed like an insignificant gift turned out to be full of meaning. Sylvia, curious and moved, decided to explore the old car. In the glove compartment, she found a small box containing a handwritten letter from Alessandro and a series of photographs that captured precious moments between the two of them. The letter, full of love and hope, revealed to Sylvia everything her grandfather had felt for her. The photographs, showing their smiles and hugs, were evidence of a deep bond that went beyond any material wealth. With the letter in hand, Sylvia made a courageous decision. She understood that her place was no longer in that house, where love had been suffocated by pride and power. She decided to leave the luxury and comfort of the family residence to build a life of her own, authentic and free.